Good evening everybody, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and I'm just doing a quick spring update or end of winter update on my Sapodilla plant and how it's been doing over winter in the kitchen. These seem to be, they're also known as Chiku, these seem to be extremely slow growing evergreens. This particular plant grew, I suppose, about an inch last summer. It hasn't grown at all over winter, although I can see signs of the, probably can't see very easily on the video, but I can see signs of new, if I can get the wind to stop blowing. Sorry, it won't focus because the wind's blowing the leaves around. I can see signs of new growth in the centre of the leaves here. I think I've got this one, well, it's probably 18 months old now, so it hasn't really grown much. It didn't do much last summer. And as a comparison, these are the seedlings from the seeds that I sowed about 6 months ago. They've also been very, very slow over winter. And I actually made an incorrect assumption with these, which just goes to show you learn as you go along. Because they weren't growing over winter at all, because I germinated them at the wrong time of year, you can probably see at the bottom of the stem here this sort of brown area. I don't know if I can focus in on it or not. Not too bad. The bottom of the stem appears to be going brown. Now I mistakenly thought that these were damping off in the winter and rotting off, so I stopped watering them and lost several seedlings from simply drying out, and they just collapse from drying out. And what I think it is I think the actual, because they're growing so slowly over winter, I think the stems were lignifying, because this one here, this stem's been brown like this for several weeks, and yet the plant is putting out new leaves and growing, as has this one here. And some of the others I've got this sort of brown section at the bottom of the stem, and because it's narrower than the green part, I thought it was rotting off and damping off, but the plants don't seem to have been affected by it, so I think not watering them was a mistake. And I think it's simply a fact that as it lignifies, the stem gets narrower. So these are my seedling Sapodillas. That's a Manilkara Zapota, and this is my larger one. It's probably, including the pot, at least 3 feet tall, so I suppose about a metre, but it really didn't do anything last year. But I'm hoping it's because when I got it, the root system was very poor, and I repotted it last summer, so I'm obviously hoping that what it's been doing is strengthening its roots over winter, and that we might get a bit more growth this year. A few yellow spots on there. That might be a nutrient deficiency, or just one leaf that's suffering a bit. Doesn't seem to be anything on the back of it. It might need a little bit of feeding. There could be I think it's probably lack of light, because they're evergreens and we get very low light levels in the UK over winter, but it might possibly suffering a bit of chlorosis and need a bit of feed. But once I get them out in May, we'll see what happens when they're outside in full light for a few weeks, and see if they darken up. Anyway, that was just my spring update for anybody interested on how my Sapodilla's done over the winter in the house. Doesn't seem to have dried out the leaves. It seems to cope quite well with the dry atmosphere. I think basically it just doesn't grow because we don't get enough light. Anyway, that's for anyone who's interested. Thanks for watching. By all means, do like and share the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and obviously if you want to see how these get on during the summer, hit the bell and you'll be notified of future videos. That's Manilkara Zapota, Sapodilla, or Chikoo in some countries. Catch up with your next video. Brett out.